What's up, folks? I'm Chris, your NFL writer here at Occupy Fantasy, here with a look at tonight's 3-game NFL Preseason DFS slate on FanDuel and DraftKings. In this video, I'm going to go over our top picks and plays for tonight's 3-game slate that locks at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Before we dive into that, though, I do want to remind you all to please click subscribe on the video. I don't say that to be annoying. I just say that to let you know that we're going to have every single slate covered with a free video here on our channel this entire preseason. So if this is the type of content that you want, if you want to get your preseason picks and news as fast as possible every single day this month, you're going to want to hit that subscribe and ring that notification bell, because that's how you will know when we have videos for you going over every slate for the rest of the NFL preseason. We're also doing a giveaway once we hit 10,000 subscribers to the channel. We are getting pretty close to that number, and I know Brian is excited to give something away to one of you once we hit that number. So please continue to spend Brian's money. I know that I love doing it. I hope that you love doing it as well. We have 3 games on the docket tonight, and the first one of the first ones that'll be kicking off is going to be between the Atlanta Falcons and the Miami Dolphins, and we're expecting a lot of playing time from rookie first-round draft pick Michael Penix Jr. out of the University of Washington, because Atlanta does not really plan to play him much in the regular season, going after Kirk Cousins, formerly of the Minnesota Vikings, right? And we actually do have some trends that suggest Penix is going to play upwards of a half in this football game. So new head coach Raheem Morris, new offensive coordinator Zach Robinson from the Atlanta Falcons, each came over from the Los Angeles Rams last year. This is a little bit of a preview of what will be posted in the Daily Plug over on OccupyFantasy.com a little bit later this afternoon, with full in-depth analysis of every single team on this slate and multiple low-risk and high-risk top picks at each position. So you certainly want to make sure you're checking that out as well. If you're not yet a subscriber to OccupyFantasy.com, become a member for as little as $7 per week. Last year with the Rams did not play their starting quarterback, which was Matthew Stafford, and they did not play their 4th quarterback on the depth chart, which was Nathan Rourke at that time. We have learned year in and year out that coaches are creatures of habit, and they stick to their playing time trends. 2 quarterbacks are expected to play for the Falcons tonight. We have veteran quarterback Taylor Heinicke, and we have rookie Michael Penix Jr. Now, last year with the Rams, Brett Rippon was the veteran backup quarterback for the Rams. He played about 16% of the snaps. We actually have our preseason opportunity dashboard for subscribers here where you can find this information. Rippon played 11 snaps in that game, 16%. And then rookie draft pick Stetson Bennett came in and played the rest of the game, played 84% of the snaps, 56 out of the 67 snaps in preseason week 1. The Rams coaching staff in general is notorious for not playing any meaningful or valuable players for an extended period of time in preseason games. That's across all positions, right? So that means tonight we're not expecting to see any of Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. We're going to get a really long look at the 2nd and 3rd units, and we feel as if it is going to be Michael Penix Jr. that is going to be leading that charge at quarterback. If you go back to our notes, we're not just blowing smoke up your butt here, guys. We have a quote from head coach Raheem Morris, backed up by the Athletics look at joint practices between the Falcons and the Dolphins this week. We expect a good look at Michael Penix tonight. So Michael Penix Jr. is going to be our favorite play at the quarterback position this evening. I would feel very comfortable slotting him into low-risk lineups this evening. There are a few other quarterback plays that we like tonight that have a lot of upside, so you're going to want to make sure you check out the Daily Plug over at OccupyFantasy.com when that is posted for more information about quarterbacks tonight. At the running back position, on the other side of the same game, our favorite play on the board is going to be rookie running back Jalen Wright with the Miami Dolphins. Last year, if we look at preseason week 1 for the Miami Dolphins, we had an extended look at last year's rookie draft pick, Devin Achane. Achane played 50% of the offensive snaps in that game. Miami played 4 running backs in total. They rested veterans Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. We had a brief look at Salvon Ahmed, Chris Brooks, and Myles Gaskin, but it was the Achane show for most of 2023's preseason week 1. I would expect Achane to join Mostert and Jeff Wilson resting this week for the Miami Dolphins, and that means Jalen Wright will play a ton this evening. Some other things to be aware of that we've actually uncovered in some of our notes for the week. Sevan Ahmed did not participate in the most recent practices and had a boot on his foot. He's probably not going to be playing in this game. We don't expect A-Chain Mostert to play. We have just Jalen Wright, Jeff Wilson, and Chris Brooks left on the roster to split the work in this game. And I will go the extra mile and say I'm a little skeptical of how much we'll see of Jeff Wilson just because of his veteran status in the National Football League. So the vast majority of playing time, even if Wilson gets a few snaps, should be allocated between Jalen Wright and Chris Brooks. Jalen Wright probably going to have to earn his way onto the field in the regular season with a strong preseason. So he is the running back that I am most excited to slot into my DFS lineups, especially my low-risk lineups tonight against the Atlanta Falcons. At wide receiver, last year's absolute star of the preseason, Austin Watkins Jr. lit up preseason DFS for the Cleveland Browns last year. He is now with the Philadelphia Eagles this preseason, and we expect him to play a ton once again in this game. Second and third unit wide receivers for the Eagles dominated the playing time opportunity in 2023. I would expect something similar here. Jalen Hurts and starters were rested in week 1 of the preseason. In 2023, we have some confirmation that is going to be happening once again here in 2024. We look at the Eagles depth chart. This is brought to you by one of their beat writers over on X.com, formerly known as Twitter, not made in Adobe Acrobat 1997. This looks like this was done with a much nicer, much more modern program by the Eagles, so kudos to them. I know it's a little hard to see, guys, but Austin Watkins is listed as one of your starting second unit wide receivers. He should mix between seeing some work with Kenny Pickett, who's expected to start, and Tanner McKee, who should play the most in this game. McKee and Pickett are competing for the backup job behind Jalen Hurts, but QB3 role for McKee last year, we saw that quarterback play right around 50% of the snaps, and the receivers that played with him had a ton of playing time as well. Austin Watkins absolutely lit up the preseason in 2023. He played 4 games because the Browns played in the Hall of Fame game last year. He had 16 receptions for 257 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns in his 4 games, was targeted on 22.6 of his routes run, and had 2.16 yards per route run, which would be an elite number in regular football, right? Like if he was playing a full complement of snaps in the regular season, this is one of the best players on the field when he is out there in the preseason. He's also a former spring football all-star, a 2023 champion with the Birmingham Stallions. So you all know, if you've been following the channel, that's near and dear to my heart as your spring football analyst here at Occupy Fantasy. I want Austin Watkins Jr. in my low-risk lineups in Classic, and I probably want to play him at captain in Showdown or single game lineups. And that is definitely something that I want you to be aware of as well when the daily plug drops over at OccupyFantasy.com. We also have rankings for all of the single game slates that are available on DraftKings and FanDuel. I think there are less people attacking those slates, guys, so that's where you can really create a little bit of an additional edge for yourself and grow your bankroll a little bit for the NFL regular season next month. Definitely check out our single game rankings in the daily plug. It's one of my favorite ways to play preseason DFS, is playing some of these Showdown single game format contests that you see a little bit less analysis for publicly here on YouTube and behind the paywall even for some of the other companies in this industry. At the tight end position, our favorite play is going to be Cade Stover. You saw him last week for the Houston Texans in the shortened Hall of Fame game. The reason that we're most excited about Stover in Houston's matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers here tonight, guys, is look how thin the lineup is here for the Houston Texans at tight end. Tegan Quatoriano, he had the touchdown last week. He has not been practicing this week. He left the Hall of Fame game early with an injury. We're not expecting Dalton Schultz to get a ton of run. He'll probably get a series or 2 with the starters because the Texans are expected to have their starters debut today. Brevin Jordan probably will either not play because he's been banged up a little bit as well, or just be limited to reps with the starters, even if he's in, because he is kind of the tight end 1B, if you will, for them. So we're looking at just Cade Stover and Dalton Keene for the majority of the playing time tonight. And Keene himself is, you see a questionable tag here. Keene was banged up last week, but our research suggests he's going to get a little bit of playing time, but we just get 3 guys here. Stover being the rookie draft pick. This is a position that we often see rookie draft picks get a lot of run in the preseason at and tend to have big performances. Obviously, we were disappointed last week, but maybe we have the flop leg here against the Pittsburgh Steelers with Cade Stover. My favorite high-risk play is going to be Chris Blair with the Atlanta Falcons. So I don't think we have like a low-risk wide receiver that we like pairing with Penix in low-risk contests tonight. In fact, it's not even necessary to have stacks in low-risk contests. We're just looking to maximize playing time and opportunities to touch the football. But if I was going to try to stack with Penix in high-risk contests, it would be with this particular wide receiver right here, guys. Falcons beat reporters have told us that Blair actually led Wednesday's practice with targets from Penix and Heineke with 4. I know that's not a lot, but we expect Blair to be the one that leads this team in opportunities. And Blair is also a spring football veteran himself, formerly of the DC Defenders in the XFL from the 2023 season. So we know that he has some upside as well if you've been playing some spring football and consume some of the content that we have brought to you over the last couple of years. We know that Chris Blair is also a really high-end wide receiver in the secondary niche football streets here, which the preseason obviously is. Obviously, some questions about defense. We have 3 games tonight. I think our favorite defense on the board actually belongs to the Philadelphia Eagles. We feel pretty good about their matchup. We think Baltimore has potentially the worst quarterback situation on the board tonight. Something that is always in play in preseason DFS, though. If Penix is going to be super popular, then obviously consider the opposite side of that matchup with the Dolphins. And then a brief preview of what I think will be in our daily plug for you. I think Miami quarterbacks will be popular tonight as well, so you could also go the other way with the Falcons defense here. But that is it for this preview video of Friday's preseason action here. We have a 3-game slate between the Falcons and the Dolphins, the Steelers and the Texans, and finally wrapping things up with the Eagles and the Ravens. Thank you guys for watching this video. Keep an eye out for our daily plug, which will be posted at OccupyFantasy.com, probably like 3 to 4 hours before lock, right around like 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And obviously tune in here for more preseason content throughout the rest of the entire month of August. We'll be back with another video for tomorrow night's main slate here on the channel.